back to the HGC Finals, where currently we are working toward finding our first grand finalist, the first team who can challenge for the title of Heroes Global Champion. I'm Gillyweed here with Caldor, Trixler, and Dreadnought, and though Gen.G are the favorites, Team Liquid are not making it easy.
No, they definitely don't, but I still think that right now Gen.G is very much in their zone again, and I feel for Liquid they have to maybe shake things up a little bit. You can really tell that the previous matches between the two have also adjusted the drafting that we're seeing coming from Gen.G against Liquid in particular. And
Gen.G have been winning things for so long, Trixler. I have to wonder where the mentality has been for this team, considering the fact that they win a lot of things, they're used to winning, and then a team has beaten them once in one game. Sure. They went 1-1, and then wins the first game in the series.
I think the only time that I can remember them distinctly having an issue with that was Eastern Clash last year, if I remember correctly. They came in super confident, feeling like they had the entire tournament down, and then lost a couple of matches. And it felt like they just tilted off the face of the earth in terms of actually the approach of the game they normally go for. So I think if you want to go that route, we need to have that mix-up that Caldor was mentioning. And one thing that I'm thinking about in particular is Abathur. It's not being banned out by Gen.G, and if that could be something that Team Liquid pulls out and surprises them with, I could see a situation where Dignitas shut down Tempest last week, really being echoed here for Team Liquid.
Well, let's not forget that 2 years ago, Gen.G and Fnatic in this spot, the same thing kind of happened. But since then, Dreadnought, Gen.G has been synonymous with what we know as Heroes Esports.
Yeah, they very much have been, and I think that is a, I think the label and the branding of Gen.G in itself and having that as a sponsor is a large source of where a lot of that motivation does come through. Having that level of a big brand that they want to be able to make, be the greatest esport organization in the world, mixed with, again, the support of having Nobilis on this roster, I think is the only reason that they've been able to have that winner's mentality and then keep winning throughout it. Because I think you're right, it's once they claim that world champion, they're like, what do we have left? We've done it all. We've beaten everybody. We're just going to walk into this tournament and stomp. And then very quickly we realized that wasn't going to be the case. And that is why I think they took a step back. But something has been there to kind of keep them motivated. And really, I think accountable is the best word here.
From what I've been able to hear, a lot of it to Sake is the idea of a dynasty. Yes, we can win one BlizzCon, but can we continue to be the only Heroes Global Champion? Because what a feat that would be 2 years in a row.
I would also say the rivalry that they now have with Dignitas is another one. So far, Gen.G has won it all, as you said, but they would crown all of that dynasty now with another big victory here. And they also have that duel that everybody is looking forward to, that we might not even get depending on the performance here of the 4 teams here today. But still, it's something where you hear the banter coming from Snitch against Ridge the entire time. Those guys are good friends, but it's always where there is someone that challenges me. There's someone that wants to take me down, so I have to improve. I have to get better.
Well, we are 1-1 in the series, all tied up. And up next, we're going to be going to Shire, an old Gen.G favorite.
And one thing that we have to keep in mind is, you're looking at Liquid here at the playoff stage and you go, well, I've seen it on Shire. The last Vikings have to be a concern in this position.
Totally.
But wait, there is no last pick slot for Liquid. By the fact that Gen.G is the team picking Shire, that they have the opportunity to get that last pick slot and be responsive to know whatever kind of, cheese or wild pick we might see here from Liquid.
Also, the one interesting to me was always when we had Gen.G in the past as MEP Black, the way that they dealt with Vikings when Liquid threw it against them in the years past at the mid-season brawl. Their adjustments are so insanely good. They know exactly when that composition is at its weakest, and they're just saying, why would we chase you? We're just going to take your structures and push them through towards the core, and what are you going to do about it?
And one thing that I also would highlight is just looking at the entirety of the Eastern scene, especially out of Korea, they are far better at that mid-game top lane pressure, which is a direct counter to the TLV approach to this battleground. So from beginning to end, I would say that it is unlikely to see that level of, pocket strategy be as successful for Liquid.
Right. There is definitely a lot of top focus, especially from Gen.G, but what is interesting to me is the focus on Hammer and Hanzo, 2 highly prioritized picks for Gen.G that they have shown so far, and that leaves a lot of things open.
And it puts it in a weird position because now that's the first pick Tyrande coming out from Team Liquid, which is something that we haven't really gotten that much, definitely in opening week, and now it's just an adjustment that they've recently been making. But according to the pick bans, that puts Raynor at the very top, and as we talked about, that has been the go-to DPS from beginning to end for Gen.G in this tournament.
Trick, what are your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
Very interesting adjustment from Team Liquid, but I think something that we needed to see from them. Hanzo and Sergeant Hammer have been instrumental for Gen.G this entire last couple of weeks, so I love the big change up, but you already mentioned the Reina can come out later on. We don't have the draft screen up here, but we are watching the draft on the side here, and Urella and Phoenix comes out for the 1-2 for Gen.G, and then Li Ming and a Nubarak for Team Liquid.
Look how long they wait for that ban. And they go full Gul'dan here. So this is a very similar draft to what Liquid actually used when they dropped those Vikings. Again, as Dreadnought pointed out, there's no last pick slot for them, but they have run stuff like this in the past. So they were at least thinking about it, Gen.G that is, but they dropped the Gul'dan here. And now, of course, the question is, how does Liquid, at least when it comes to their own picks, adjust? Because this is a map where we have seen a lot of variation, and you pointed also out Abathur earlier. We have seen Simura on this map on the European scene. We have seen Valera, Arcana played there too. There are a few adjustments that could come out depending what Gen.G picks next year.
The biggest thing to be looking at for Gen.G, though, is that Phoenix is completely out of place compared to what we have seen from them in the past. It shows that they're way more concerned about the macro game and wave clear game into the Toronto and Nubarak. So I expect a double macro focus here. But Urel in the offlane, not too good in the avenue. So who's going to be able to back that up? And look at this. We see ourselves moving into the Tyrael and the Kharazim. A lot of siege capabilities, a lot of skirmishing capabilities. But who is that consistent DPS that is going to provide the problem that the Tyrael is going to enable here for Gen.G? That is the question.
That's always been Hammer. For this tournament at least, it's been Hammer, and that's still banned. So there is something to that. What are you feeling for Team Liquid, Trick?
I would love to have a little bit more follow-up for this Nubarak Cocoon. You need to be quick when you're wanting to run this type of composition.
Okay.
I could see a Framing coming in. It was just going to be a Rainer, but there's a Dahaka in that top lane that we're looking for on Towers of Doom. I'm more looking at Gen.G.
Jaina.
You think it's Jaina here?
I would love to see a Jaina. Alarak!
Finally!
That is the name of it there. We're going to see that pick up there and into... Okay, so the Rainer pickup now is a really, really good. Any consistent DPS, pretty much non-caster that you can have into an Alarak is a great choice. And the bigger the range, the better, as long as you can stay out of the telekinesis there. But I thought it was going to be the Jaina to enable the Phoenix a little bit better, pair with the Smite to be able to get the double kind of movement speed debuff onto your opponent. I like the draft here from Gen.G, but let's be real. And Alarak, the only player in the world that I feel like you can look at and be like, you might be able to get away with this, is Rich. And it makes me go, was this too bold of a movement here from them?
Every single time I hear that, I see Snitch fuming in the background somewhere, and he's just like talking to Wibby, and it's like, dude, we have to draft it. I need to show them.
He's sitting in the back plotting, scheming.
It's like that's role playing as Alarak, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's just scheming, isn't that his style?
But let's talk a little bit about the draft for Liquid here as well.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of engaging kill potential that I really like. We also have the Dehaka again that we pointed out earlier. They love to run on Towers of Doom too, so they have Eternal on that hero now. And they play a very aggressive draft right now, and I kind of like that.
The Alarak has gotten them a win on the same map versus Miracle. How much is on the shoulders of Rich with that kind of engage-heavy draft?
I mean, I think a majority of it is on the shoulders of him, but I think he's very capable and understanding of that and willing to pull that off. I'm looking over to Team Liquid, and I see this Nubarak come out. In Europe, traditionally, our Nubaraks haven't been as efficient as we would normally like, so I am worried in that regard, especially against an Alarak. If you have a bad burrow charge and Alarak comes in for that punish, Rich is looking for, that's a dead bug.
Yeah, Alarak definitely makes the bug go to like a lady beat bug very quickly. It looks like something that's a bit more vulnerable out of the two.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that I would highlight out of this is with the Alarak pickup, Gen.G needs to be very fluid with laning and then catching off small skirmishes. Tyrael, Kharazim, Alarak, amazing at winning those small skirmishes and then having the wave clear in the off lanes is just, they're more placeholders for that experience. So as long as they skirmish, I don't know if we were going to be worried about the team fight because by the time the team fights happen, I expect a 2-level lead in favor of Gen.G.
Well, the winner of this game is 1 game away from the grand finals of the HGC finals. So let's get going.
Connor, we get an Alarak and a Kharazim from Gen.G.
Yeah.
They are looking to go full offensive.
But we also have a lot of aggression coming from Liquid. And again, we came in worried a bit about them as the underdog in the series. The reason why I like it is that it shows confidence to me. They want to fight and they want to bring the battle. They're not just simply sitting back after the last game, which was a bit of a beatdown, if we're honest. Here, they're saying, okay, we can still go toe-to-toe with them here. It's going to be tough, but they're going to try at least.
I also like the backup plan of bringing the Dahaka in, but let's go straight into Shire. Here on the left side in the blue, it will be Gen.G. Sake playing Kharazim, Reset on Phoenix, Rich on Alarak, Kyochi on Urel, Tist on Tyrael. Go ahead and give it up for the Korean team.
After a loss on Towers of Doom to the right, we have Billy this time on a Nubarak. Team Liquid starting with Eternal on his Dehaka. The global play from him. Whereas Arcana plays Li Ming, Nurok on to Ronda and Hazorbs. He's playing Jim Reyna. It is, ladies and gentlemen, Team Liquid. You pointed out earlier the engage that we can see from Nubarak and how that can be punished. That's definitely something that worries me too, because when we see Nubarak in Europe, oftentimes it is paired with the Urel. You want to have that armor bonus, or you might have that blaze right next to you. In this case, it's something Billy cannot rely upon, so he needs to be extremely careful here. And already we're having Hazorbs also under pressure as Gen.G is going for early game aggression in the mid lane.
And it pays off well. Look at Team Liquid. They are bruised and battered. Some even Hearthstoning here, which gives Gen.G that immediate jump on that bottom lane, which means get that wave clear moving forward. And suddenly Team Liquid is fighting from behind it now, which means now Mercenary camp timings are slowed down. Gen.G opening up with a massive team fight and working out well for him.
There's a lot of aggression coming from Gen.G for sure. Liquid is now trading in with the trap that they're saying, okay, we are trying to bring the fight as well. We're not afraid of it. We need to show some confidence here. We can't just sit back and let them play their game. And they're going to be looking for those kills later on. They have the Celestial Attunement right now, and for me it's really just a question, can they get those CCs? Can Dehaka make the move, get a drag in, set especially Arcana up with Li Ming? Once the Hunter's Mark is on the ground, you work the damage in and you get those resets for Li Ming, there are good chances for Team Liquid to do work in a fight. But then you look over to Gen.G, you see that Alarak, you see that Karazim there, and that aggression they can bring if they want.
For Team Liquid, it has to come down to flanks, right? Dehaka has to come in with the rotation on the Brushstalker, find that target, have a Nubarak come in with a quick follow-up. Gen.G on the other side, I'm actually looking at Karazim and wondering, do you consider Divine Palm here with that blow-up coming in from Team Liquid? You try to save a target. Is that why we have the Karazim coming out?
I would say it's definitely something that you think about. At this point, nice attack again, Tist. Not quite enough to drop Tyrael here. But coming back to your point, I really feel like you wait how the game goes. If Liquid executes extremely well with their attempt to take someone down, you might be forced into a palm. But especially around the plays that you can make with Urel and with Alarak, trying to just get somebody out of position, a 7-sided would also be a great addition to their setup.
This person in camp, the top lane for Gen.G is doing work here. Already breaking through this turret, looking for the gate next. That spell armor aura on the back, that wizard has not been cleaned up. Hosswap's having a really hard time getting up there and putting damage in with 3 people on the top lane. Gen.G is going to be very happy with that exchange.
That was a fantastic push by them. But Billy, I love this. I mean, this little thing here right now, Gen.G taking the long path to the side, absolutely understanding that there is a possibility of someone waiting in that bush and trying to get a kill. That was fantastic for them. Extremely safe play here, giving the respect to Team Liquid here too. If they would have moved straight back down, and Nubarak would have definitely tried for the engage, and then Liquid could have collapsed onto those.
This early game's been great for them. They're pulling Team Liquid around the map right now. Team Liquid went all the way top to respawn, now they're running to the bottom here to respawn at the same time, and Gen.G just works in these small advantages, takes a giant camp first, already having that push in the bottom lane, while Team Liquid is just trying to mirror them.
Exactly, and this is what we talked about. Liquid has a draft that says, hey, we don't want to be reactionary. We want to be the ones who initiate these aggressive moves onto a target. You get the burrow charge in, you're moving in with a Hunter's Mark and the Tyrannus stun right afterwards, and then Li Ming comes in with a combo. But so far, as you said, they're just following the steps of Gen.G, who with those plays at the top lane did great. But here comes the drag as the stun, as Gen.G is trying to go for the first Dragonite. It's likely that they're going to get it.
Yeah, Nubarak had to use that Lunar Flare to make sure he keeps his team alive, and Gen.G will punish that. They turn around and grab that first dragon, and the middle lane will be the first one to be pushed in. And don't forget about that top lane. Remember, that fort is exposed, and Gen.G is looking to capitalize.
Hazorb's already a bit on the run here. Eternal moving up to help him out. Gets the dragon, a bit of extra damage onto Tis, but of course not really threatening Tyrael just yet.
Thernal floating around here, has that dragon available. Meanwhile, that dragon pushing the middle lane. Li Ming is going to clear that up slowly. But Gen.G hoping to open up this map. But the best part about this dragon coming out early for them too is they can build for that level 10. They don't have to worry about the aggressive plays coming from Team Liquid because no shrines are available.
Kyoja at the top though is in trouble, but again survives as Dehaka just can't come in to make the move. Billy on the other hand moves in. Oh, and the kill against Reyna happening at the same time, but here comes that stun, and down he goes. Tyrael eliminated. Kyoja moving away, jumping onto Billy. Didn't see that one coming, but the Divine Steed keeps him alive.
Divine Steed quickly gets away. At the same time, Gen.G also took the fort in the middle lane too, so they jump up and experience 8.25 to the 7.5 of Team Liquid. So Team Liquid, even though they get a bite back, they are still hurting, and they are behind as we head to level 10.
Oh, they definitely are. That was an easy DK for Gen.G, and they got a lot of value out of it. The extra pressure towards the top lane is also going to make it incredibly difficult for Dehaka to hold the access to the shrine, especially with him losing the fountain at the top side.
Team Liquid trying to lopside the map a little bit, though. Coming straight down for the night camp. Want to get that pushing in that bottom lane, grab that turret, get some experience there. Got to try and stay neck and neck against Gen.G as they slowly start to fall behind. But if they get the Spell Aura camp, at least then they can try and set up a kill on Alrock, who's been by himself to this bottom lane the entire game.
This is definitely now a position where Team Liquid can see if they can scratch that wall a little bit, take one or two towers down, get some experience for themselves to bring it back. But of course, Dehaka now playing extremely safe. There's very limited vision for Liquid, and here comes an attack by Alarak trying to go for a kill. Reset immediately following it up, but that's just not enough to pressure Liquid just yet. But they take that camp down, easy peasy.
Take it down, not even a turret. Fully falling here for Team Liquid. At 9.5 for Gen.G, they play it safe. You see Urel floating between that middle and the top lane, soaking every ounce of experience. At 10 coming soon. Team Liquid is going to be positioned here where they might actually just straight up lose this next dragon.
I mean, with level 7, we already have, of course, the extra damage potential for Liming now too with the Calamity. But as you said, the early level 10 could help Gen.G to easily get another DK here. Liquid is going to try and see how much damage they can get out of the camp now pushing topside. But they need to grab XP on all 3 lanes to make sure that as fast as possible they will get access to their heroics too, so that they can contest that DK.
Gen.G responds in kind, but Team Liquid is trying to slow them down. You see Sport Billy here dealing with Test trying to beat him away as Gen.G wants to clear up this top lane again. Grabbing the advantage when it comes to the night camp. This is huge. They can continue pushing this fort, and that will be the second fort of the game. Jumping, but experience, but also controlling that shrine.
Great rotations by Gen.G so far. Really well done here. And as you said, that pressure play towards the top is now definitely threatening the fort of Team Liquid. But they have the level 10s. Now you can make those plays with Cocoon. Try and set that up. Both of the tanks actually anchoring the plays here. Tist sitting in the brush, moving away for now. But it's going to be on Liquid to force that battle eventually.
With no Alarak here, Gen.G plays it safe. They didn't know exactly where a new rack was, and if that web came out, suddenly Team Liquid would have that 5v3 quickly. So Team Liquid does not get the fight they want, but at least they take that shrine back and clear up that camp, so the fort will stand. Gen.G keeping up with the trend, though, of going first with mercenary camps, grabs there on the left side, and Tist even thinking about going for an invade, comes on over, he has the Eldruin, but not going to take that.
Both of the teams definitely a bit cautious here. The series is tied at this point in the best of 5, a 1-1 after the initial victory for Team Liquid on Volskaya, and the comeback of Gen.G on Towers of Doom. Topside, that battle between Urel and Dehaka is still continuing, but he's making his move back down as the fight is forced. They're going for Alarak. They're trying to take Rich down, but he moves away with the telekinesis.
Quickly gets out there. Eternal even going for that isolation, wanting to try and grab it on top of Tist there, so they couldn't block him that sanification, but he hits.
Massive commitment.
Yeah.
Massive commitment by Liquid. They used the global, they used the cocoon, they used nearly everything to try and get this kill, and he didn't care. Moved out, the CCs were not stacked perfectly enough to not allow him that small frame of opportunity, and Liquid now, with all the cooldowns basically blown off, has to somehow try and make sure that they're at least holding on to the objective, but that alone is already a tall order.
They have Sport Billy here who can delay it long enough while Rainer's working on the top, but Kyocho's right there with that Urel, and he can buy a lot of time, especially with that Ardent Defender, and he's holding it. Sake's going for the channel. Sake will be able to grab the second dragon of the game.
Extremely well timed here by them. Urel holding the top just long enough, jumps over, has the Divine Sea, can easily move away here, and we see Gen.G with DK number 2. Fantastic defense against the aggression from Liquid. Liquid committing so much, getting nothing out of it, and then Gen.G immediately realizing, guys, we can make the play now.
Something to note, too, is we got that 7-sided strike coming in there for Karazim, Divine Palm. Yep. Gen.G not really feeling the pressure, and to be honest, why would they? So far, Team Liquid has not been able to capitalize. Gen.G grouping in the bottom lane and pushing in for this 4. They bring all 5, which is traditionally what they do with the objective.
Gen.G definitely out-rotating and shutting it down. Liquid now with the defense, but of course the level 13 tunnel is something that the Koreans want now. They go for the fort here. Dehaka with the soak on the side, trying to keep his team as close as 13 as possible. Here comes the move though. They're looking for the drag. The cocoon is already on the ground. DK is still busy with the fort itself. Their kill attempt here. Salvo already used by Gen.G though. They're looking for kills as Team Liquid is scrambling to escape.
Arcaner gets out, but he's low. Certification will be popped for Gen.G, trying to go for the straight on fort, and they will be able to get it. Team Liquid pops the Hyperion, but I wonder if it's too late. Sport Blade goes in for the Burrow charge, completely whiffs it, and there's the telekinesis into a 7-sided.
Down he goes. Already an Uberak eliminated. He's not the only one. Reyna goes down as well. Gen.G, they get the 4, they get 13, they get the kills, they take everything and leave Team Liquid with 2 graves to dig.
Gen.G just way too smooth right now so far. Shutting down Team Liquid. Everything has a rhyme and a reason for them. Sanification to get that fort. The immediate backup from the Hyperion. A new rack makes a mistake. The immediate punish with a 7-sided strike and then telekinesis. Gen.G right now 3-1 in kills, but in macro, destroying right now. 2 forts down.
It honestly just looks elegant what they're doing here. Whenever Liquid is looking for a fight, they initiate with that cocoon, they're trying to get those kills, and Gen.G doesn't even burn big cooldowns for it. They're just moving effortlessly away from it, rotate, make sure that they get the DK, go in for the fight. Dragon Knight didn't even turn around when Liquid made the engage. They're saying, no, we got this. We have everything that we need. Now they rotate topside. They go for Eterna. There is no chance for him to escape. Down goes Dehaka. Fantastic rotation. Not called out properly. Didn't see it coming. And now Liquid falling farther and farther behind.
The game just feels like it's in slow motion for Gen.G. Able to find these picks. Their opponents just aren't responding in time. Team Liquid just can't get a footing on the battleground. And they're finally looking for that footing. You see Rainer pushing in the bottom lane with the Giants, but Gen.G takes away their night camp, gets that pushing in the top. That'll work on top of that wall there, which will eventually break down that 4. But Gen.G just completely in a position where they feel comfortable.
Gen.G is taking everything they want. They steal Team Liquid's lunch money right now, take the camps away.
Not the lunch money.
Yeah, that too. All the cookies. They're taking the camps away, and they are just walking over them in this game. Liquid, what they need, they really need to find a good fight. They need to find a good drag, the isolation, get the stuns in, make sure that they get a kill. Once they have some momentum, they might be able to fight back into it. But so far, Gen.G has been playing this game nearly flawlessly.
But how do you find those picks when you've lost map control? They can barely push past their keep wall here. All their first layer defense has been completely eradicated.
I mean, I feel really the engages that Liquid had weren't too bad. You try to force it around the cocoon, but then the follow-up has to be there immediately, and they need to confirm, to secure the kill. If they can't manage that, they have very small hopes of actually making a comeback here. It's only through a kill that they can do this.
One way they can do that is by controlling a Shrine, put their stakes here on that bottom lane and force Gen.G to step up. Gen.G with a Welsh should be feeling a little bit comfortable, but they can have Dehaka flank him before Yrel gets there. That could be great for Team Liquid. But already, Kyocha coming in for that big flank. He actually wants to get this engaged, especially with 16 being here. And Hasselhoff's in trouble already.
Hasselhoff's in trouble, but the Salva doesn't hit him. He's trying to escape. Yeah, that's 7-sided. He drops Siberian, trying to get the damage out, but he himself cannot escape. Once again, another victim as Gen.G goes for kill number 5.
Same story, same results. Team Liquid has just been way too slow there. Rainer getting completely picked off there. Great engaged by Alarak. And now Gen.G will make a play for the 3rd dragon of the game. And all they have left is keeps to take.
Another DK taken, and 16 in their hands too. This is going to hurt for sure. Liquid, they know that Gen.G is coming for the keep right now, especially with those siege shines already shelling away at the gate. The Dragon Knight on the way. Rainer still down, doesn't even have the Hyperion to use it here and try and force the opponent back. Gen.G dominant in game number 3.
Giants adding an extra DPS. Arcana trying to get rid of those. Next will be that Dragon Knight they're going to focus on. Hasselhoff's is back, but no major heroics available. 40 more seconds for Tyrande, and of course Rainer 50 seconds for that Hyperion, which is pivotal for clearing out this wave. That Giant even still standing here.
And keep in mind, we have Sanctification and everything else still up for Gen.G. They can always even try, if they get a kill here, to go for the core. There is a huge amount of siege potential for them if you consider that Sanctification.
I think the one element that decided the factor of Gen.G whether or not they would go for that core is that Alarak. You don't want to be resetting on your stacks, of course. You want to be very careful when it comes to that. And of course, he doesn't really bring the best siege damage, but Gen.G definitely has those tools that if they found that pick, they could have gone for it. Gen.G sieging the middle lane here, opening up that keep wall. Might be a little damage on top of that keep, but Team Liquid should be able to hold, and their next objective is to get 16.
You really feel that Team Liquid is once again with the back to the wall, and as you say, they're looking for 16, and once they have it, they need to look for a fight and for a kill around that talent here. And it is a strong one for them as well. They definitely have the damage potential, but the execution hasn't really been on point yet.
There is one element that we need to talk about, that late game with Dehaka floating around. Suddenly dead timers are starting to spike up, so any mistake from Gen.G could be something that Team Liquid can capitalize on.
I was thinking about that earlier too, and then I looked at the minimap and I was like, well, they haven't really taken down a tower yet, so you haven't opened the map enough to really get that global value.
And we're still at 13 minutes, typically where that becomes a major factor of 15, 17 minutes, but it is something that Team Liquid can start to bank on. But meanwhile, we talk about all that, and Gen.G is building for the 120 and building towards another kill as a Nubrak is gone.
Beautiful. Beautiful execution by Gen.G. Great play here by Rich, and then of course the 7-sided could not be escaped. And that is the problem when you're running with it in Nubrak. Again, they're moving in. Liquid is on the run. They're trying to hightail it out of here, but in comes Gen.G looking for the kill against Snorok, and they get it.
Poor Tyrande destroyed as she is going to be picked off. Gen.G 7 kills to 1. Arcana goes in for a little bit of damage on Kyocha. Kyocha able to get away and heal on up. Team Liquid now has to wait for 2 to spawn, and Gen.G can take the time to grab whatever is on the battleground, and they go straight for a night camp.
It feels like Team Liquid poked the bear a little bit too hard in game number 1. They've broken the dragon, and Gen.G is certainly willing to bring the pain here. They go for the cap again. They're already homing in on 19, and Liquid is struggling to find a foothold in this game.
Gen.G getting ready with the bear claws here as we build towards that level 20. Want to come in for the final swipes there. The Shrine about to activate in about 25 seconds, and they'll be in a great spot here to soak up that full level 20, have the Dragon, and push in for a core. Team Liquid needs to be ready to defend.
We have the Epicenter now on 16. They are looking also, of course, until the Mirror Ball once again. There is definitely a damage output available, but we have for their opponent the Cleansing Touch on Karazim too, and that combined with his level 7 talent, with a blinding speed, is now, of course, another massive tool where he can circumvent all that CC that Liquid is trying to push onto a target. It all comes down to the engage. Do you find that cocoon? Do you find those stuns? Do you find that damage? The Cleansing Touch is there. The cocoon may be a bit too late, but they're still looking at Kyoja. But once more, Gen.G just walks away.
Sanification, Socket dashes away, and Team Liquid does not get the fight they want. And no major heroics burn. Sure, Sanification, but you still have that Aura Defender available. You still have the Salvo. Gen.G can turn around and fight at any time. They're waiting for their 20. They're waiting for the opportunity for Rich to show up.
And you can't help but feel that they're just a little bit too late with that cocoon. Again, the Haka in trouble. The stun's coming out, so that's Hyperion. Salvo! His third is alive, at least for now, but Gen.G is not done yet.
Team Liquid does survive. They try to turn around. Sport Billy going in for the Impale. Is going to miss a major one, but Hatsuwa's in trouble as he gets picked off, and Gen.G is going to stomp forward.
Down goes Reina, down goes Li Ming. Dehaka is eliminated, and they're focusing their attention towards Billy and Norok, the two remaining Team Liquid members on the retreat, as Gen.G is looking for another DK and for an opportunity to end the game.
And it gets worse here for Team Liquid. 3 catapults already on top of that core. You already have Reset stepping up on that Phoenix, trying to get some damage core to help out. Another web will come out on top of Tyrael, but Sake will easily get him out. He'll escape forward, and now Team Liquid in a position where the core is beginning to fall.
The shields are gone, and Gen.G wants the lead in the series. They're likely to get it. 10% on the core, and that's his game. As Gen.G takes Dragon Shire.
I think you described it best, Caldor. In game number 1, Team Liquid poked the bear. And the bear is fully woken up right now, and they are biting aggressively. Gen.G has completely shown their composure, has shown what they are capable of as they continue to shut down the European team fight after fight.
And it was incredibly well done. I'm not quite sure if it was really just a disconnect on the side of Team Liquid when it came to the execution of their composition, or more so just the pure elegance of how Gen.G just avoided all of these situations, just dodged them without even committing to cooldowns. I mean, how often did you actually see that sanctification needed to avoid any of it? They walked away, Sake with fantastic plays here, great cleansing touches, never really under pressure. It was extremely well done.
Well, we asked, could we trust in Rich to lead Gen.G through the game? Turns out, yes, indeed, we can trust in Rich. And I'm starting to see a trend, Dreadnought, for Team Liquid, and that's losing the early game. And it's starting to be a problem for them versus a team that is pretty good at snowballing.
Yeah, you know, I used to be on a roster that was known for the same thing. We were very good at the late game and making ways to understand win conditions, limiting yours, and finding the best opportunity to come back. But eventually you start meeting, as you move at the international level, the teams that are good throughout all stages of the game. And you realize that what you could get away with it maybe in your own playstyle and within your own region, it just doesn't hold up because that team knows how to finish out the rest of the game there. And I don't think that it's maybe that far down the line for Liquid. They surely have shown that they have those tools. But it does feel like it is a breaking point here for Gen.G.
I gotta ask you guys, we had the double night camp push in the top lane constantly coming in from Gen.G, where they got the night camp pushed in and they would always get the advantage.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Alaric being in the bottom lane, he's not the best pusher. He's not gonna destroy a fort if you leave him alone. Should have Team Liquid decided to group up a bit earlier and try to stop that in its tracks?
Yes, but I don't. I would argue not bottom. So there's one shrub whenever you see top lane pressure in the early to mid game from Dragonshire that you have to control, and it's between the middle Dragonite and the top middle Dragonite. That control over that gets the flank for the push. At no point in time when you saw the double night camp picked up was Gen.G able to be threatened in that territory. They move through, they wait until they need to strike, then they do, and too much damage is already done at that point in time for Liquid to recover. If they threaten off that moment, I think they can actually find kills in there because it's a 2-man rotation every single time, and unless that happens, it's just we lose top, we're dealing with Alarak on bottom, and as I said, it's dance around the game until the team fights are not going to matter as long as Alarak can hold his own.
Caldor, anything to add before we move on to the next and possibly final game of the series?
Only that I'm a little bit scared at this point because Liquid just looked... the execution also wasn't there. They had a composition that said, we want to get kills. We want to engage, get the cocoon in, and then follow up and get that kill. And every time Gen.G just walked out of it. And there was not a single point where you felt, okay, now this is the point where they turn. They caught once Alarak at the bot lane. It really looked like the moment where maybe they can make something happen. But then it wasn't even close. So that's just Gen.G tuning it up a notch.
We're going to get a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, Gen.G tries to send him home.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA.